Hello, what's going on, people? It's gonna be my other video here, and yes, as you guys can see, something has changed. This is another car. That is the main thing that has changed. But going on to business here, today I want to talk about something that is not related to my what I'm doing with my life, regarding alcohol. I'm here to talk about something about the business. Now, when it comes to how it started in the restaurant business, I gotta go back to 2014. I used to work at a fish market, but I started working there first as a security guard back in 2014. 2015, I left the fish market working security, so I can do logistics in the port of Long Beach. That's what I was going to school for, and I got a job over there. But it didn't work out there. I got fired in about 5 months, and during that time, I was told that the people in the fish market were asking for me. They were asking, hey, how come there's no they were asking for me, and they were saying, like, oh, how come there's no, like, the security guard, where to go. So on that, like, my friend told me, hey, you know what, they're actually looking for you, and they have some job openings over there. And I actually went. I applied, and I think it was like a Monday, and they told me, hey, can you start working on Wednesday? I was like, hell yeah, Anyway, so I started working there, the fish market, 2014, I think 2014, yeah. And whatchamacallit, until 2020, that's when everyone got canned. I was one of them. And long story short, I got fired March 2020. Pretty sure a lot of people remember that month. But then on March 2020, we got fired. Late April 2020, they called me back again and said, hey, you know what, like, we want to offer you a job. I took too long. They said, no, you know what, never mind. And then what was it, like, I think June, they asked me again, hey, if you want to come back to work? And I said, nah, thank you. So after that, they never called me back. Now, my friend, the fisherman, the one who is, quite frankly, the main owner of the restaurant, I met him there, and he is straight from Japan. All his families are from Japan, and he would always ask me, hey, Omar, like, I want to stay here in the U.S. I want to make a business here in the U.S., but he didn't know how to or what to do. And I was like, well, look, man, like, I like to go out, I like to eat, I like to have I like to eat at restaurants. And I told him, like, let's put something, like food related. Oh, but mind you, this idea came about in 2019. And in 2019, October 2019, I got a U-Haul dealership. Like, I put that. And I said, hey, look, man, like, I barely got this. It's a big space. Why don't, and then that U-Haul place, it was in Boyle Heights. So close to the fisherman store, like where I used to work. It was about like 10-minute drive. So what I told him, hey, man, like, let's get the fish from here. Let's buy it, whatever, and then let's take it to my shop, and then you cut it right there, and then we can sell it like Instagram. That's how a lot of restaurants or pop-ups started. I said that was 2019 once again. And then time went by. That was October 2019, November, December 2019, January 2019. There's the rumors of, like, the pandemic. February, same thing. It's getting serious. And then March, and then whoop, it happened. And then right there, my friend and I were kind of pushed to do that, like hey, like do something so you can survive. And yeah, I helped them to do sashimi platters all 2020. Like I will cut like the fish, or I will like prep, cut the daikon, or maybe like the plates, do something like that. I wasn't there all the time, to be honest. I wasn't there, but like I would go there and I will try to learn. Hey, let's do this, and I would take pictures. I made them an Instagram account. I made them a website. All these things. That was 2020. 2021 happened, and we were like, hey, what are we gonna do? He wants to put a restaurant. And then at the end of 2021, he told me, hey, you know what? Like, I'm gonna put a restaurant in Huntington Beach. I was like, yeah, man. That sounds about right. It's good, a good spot. And then we started the restaurant in February of 2022. And from that point on until the beginning of 2024, which is this year, that's when things started like fizzle down, and I stopped working there ultimately, to be honest. Now, 2 years I worked there, and in those 2 years, quite frankly, ain't no school gonna teach me what I learned in those 2 years. Working as a operator there, I'm doing marketing, training, the little bit that I did, to be honest. I mean, I learned a lot, like leadership. It's one of those things that like I lack leadership, to be honest. For better, for worse, perhaps my friend, the Japanese owner, never bestowed that power upon me, and I'm not the type of person that like is gonna just act like that. And also, yeah, like me, like the lack of leadership within me, obviously that took place there. A lot of things. Like, I'm gonna be straight up honest with you guys. Seriously, straight up honest with you. What happened, what didn't happen, and all these other things. Now, this video, would also is going to be edited in a way that also Japanese people will learn from this, because I'm not Japanese. Clearly, I'm not Japanese, but Japanese culture has always intrigued me ever since I was little. I mean, I was engaged to a Japanese woman when I was in college. Anyways, onto the business. So working in a Japanese restaurant, it's different, to be honest. Now, let me tell you one thing. Going back to what I was saying about my ex-fiance, if you will. Admiring the Japanese culture is one thing, admiring from afar. Being inside a Japanese culture thing, it's another thing. And if you're a foreigner, it's another thing. Having Japanese friends is one thing. Having a Japanese lover is one thing, as in, like your boyfriend or girlfriend. And it's different if you're a man, you have a Japanese girlfriend is one thing. If you're a woman, having a Japanese boyfriend is another thing. Working with a Japanese person is one thing. Working alongside a Japanese person is another thing. Working with a Japanese person it's many things. It's not, yeah. Now their culture is like that. They when I was in the fish market, they would do seniority. That was very big for them. Like, oh no, like this person came here 20 years ago, and you barely, and let's say me, I'm barely there for a year. My opinion didn't really matter, even if my opinion was maybe good, or my ideas were good and their idea were horrible. But just because they were in the company for 20 years, it's okay, no problem. But anyways, onto the restaurant. It's just different working or having a business partner that is Japanese. And even then, Japanese person is from over there is one thing. A Japanese person born here is one thing. The first generation is one thing. Second generation is another thing. If that business partner is a man, it's a woman, it's a different dynamic. So I'm doing this video for anyone who is not Japanese and it's interested in working with a Japanese person, because like me, they admire the culture, they admire the food, everything, and this is just food for thought. Now, the opposite of this side is this is for Japanese people that are overseas and they want to come here to do business. What are you guys expecting? Especially here in LA, it's big and multicultural, like big. I mean, there's a lot of Latinos here. So for you, Japanese entrepreneur who wants to do business here, think about that. Think about that. The fact that most likely you will work with non-Japanese people, and that right there, it's another perspective that maybe a lot of Japanese people aren't too kind, about it, because they want to work with their own people. But here in LA, especially, it's a little difficult just to work with this type of people, that type of people. You could definitely make it work. I mean, in the fisherman store, I met a lot of Japanese owners that were dealing strictly with Japanese people, but to be honest, in the kitchen they were Latinos. I mean, I suppose we're the one who make it work here, but anyways, if you're someone who is trying to get into a business with a Japanese person, this is it. Okay, what to expect. Expect that if you have an opinion, you as the foreigner, your opinion, you need to tell your opinion in a mellow, not harsh, but truthful way. I hope that makes sense. We Latino especially, even within Latinos, some people don't like to hear this. Some people don't like to hear that. Or some people don't like to go straight. That's some Latinos are like that. Japanese people are like that too. They like to go around. Again, not in a deceitful manner, but in a respectful, yet straightforward manner. I hope that makes sense. Another thing is that you as a foreigner, if you want to work for a Japanese person, with or for a Japanese person, it's to think about that their culture is strong, and their vision matters. So maybe if you're from here in LA and let's say going back to the restaurant, and then you say, hey, you know what, like in YouTube, in TikTok, this is popular, but for a Japanese person, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. For a Japanese person, it's like, hey, I do mochi, traditional mochi. And if in TikTok, the mochi has a smiley face, for a Japanese person, it doesn't matter if that's popular. For what matters is like, hey, I'm good at this. I know how to make mochi. And I just want people to try this mochi. And once they try it, they will love it, whether it has a happy face or not. But for a foreign, like someone outside that culture, it's like, you want to sell more, right? Like, come on, like put a happy face, stamp it with your logo. For us, it makes sense. For an outsider, it makes sense. And maybe you bring this idea to your business partner, your boss or whatnot, and they don't hear you. You might take an offense, like, yo, like, why is this happening? Why is that happening? It's not that they don't want to listen to you. It's that, like, I think you, the foreigner, need to get on board on their vision of like, oh, okay, cool. And then once that clicks in your mind, your brain, like, trust me, you will be different. I freaking always pick the places where they're gonna do like trash pickup, seriously. I always freaking do.